Hello everyone, how you going? It's Bridget here from Bridget's Cottage in Charleston in the Adelaide Hills. This morning I thought I'd just do a real quick, simple little floral arranging for you using one of my lovely vintage jugs that I found in, I think I got this on Marketplace actually. I really love it. I think it's just a beautiful vase, and I'm going to use some Pierre de Ronsards that I have cut from the garden this morning. So I'll show you the bunch that I've cut. They're just garden flowers, so I'm sure that you could do something like this yourself. But one thing that's interesting about Pierre de Ronsard is they're real big boppers. They've got very heavy blossoms, so you need to be able to give them something sturdy to support them. So I've gone through and I've cut them, and now what I'm doing is I'm just going, and I've got water in the vase which is filled up to about here. And then what I do is I cut my roses on an angle like that, because then what happens is it can take in as much water as possible. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the flowers in. I'm going to let them flow with the jug, see how they fall, because honestly these sort of flowers will just go where they want to. You don't have a lot of control with really big roses. I've taken off like any of the petals that leaves that look a bit scrappy, because we do get the old black spot in the Adelaide Hills because we've got a lot of humidity here. This is just a little tiny one that can go to the front. It actually is probably too small for this arrangement. And you can strip off your rose petals as you go. If there's any imperfections, like there's a couple in here, I just literally hold the stem, support the stem, pull them off, and then I go through and I de-thorn them either by just cutting the thorns, or you can hold your hand here and you can just pinch them off. And can you remember when you're kids, we used to put them on our nose? That's what my sister and I used to do. We used to put them on our nose and pretend that we were rhinoceros. The things you do. But gardens do bring out the creativity in people, I think. Here's a little bit where the stem was that I've just trimmed them off. It doesn't matter if they're not perfect. I'm doing them so that they can design to see that you can enjoy them. And now what I'm going to do is pull this back so that I can put the roses in the front and work from that way. So literally look at how the roses are falling. I mean, this is heavy, so don't try and put it at the back as an upright display. Put it to the front and let it work its magic at the front. So feed that right down. Look at that, it's filling down some space. And then we can pull this one over. I think they're just beautiful. Like, you know, whether it's a single flower, that one's already cut on an angle. And just to be clear, that's the reason we do the angle, is so that I've got some thorns here that I'm just going to do this with. There is other ways we can de-thorn, but I know with these particular roses that it's easy to do this. I think supporting the actual stems is really important, because if we go to tweak them, sometimes when we move the stems around, we break the roses off of them. So let's have a look. I'm going to just check where I'm going. Oh my gosh, this is a billowing beauty of roses. Now we've got some bugs have attacked this one here, this little one. So I'm just going in with my snips, cutting that back, removing this one. The thorns here I have already snipped off with the snips, the sharp part. But I think that that's pretty groovy. I'll bring that round to the end so that we can see it on a few different angles. When you arrange your flowers, you've got to think, where are these going to be appreciated from? What sort of angle? Is it going to be up higher than you, at eye level on a hall table, for example, or maybe lower on a coffee table? So when you're arranging, like, I really should be just looking at them and saying, oh yes, okay, that one there needs to be pulled out a little bit more. Think about the perspective that they'll be viewed. I think that's really important and key. You really can't go wrong when it's for home and it's just something for the pleasure of arranging flowers. These are going to be on a wall. I'll be able to show you what they look like once I've put them up there. And that's my flowers. There's nothing better than just a billowing blossoms of roses hanging over a beautiful old vintage vase. I think that's gorgeous. The fact that this is opaque, we don't get to see any of the stems down the bottom. Sometimes that's actually beautiful as well to see the stems. But this is what I wanted to display them in today. And I think that the lovely light colours of the pink, that some of the petals are falling as I'm tweaking it, but the lovely petals, the soft colour of the petals against this dark vase is just beautiful. So that's what I've done. Now at the back, I've not done it as a 360 because this is going up against a wall. So you need to also consider that. If this was a viewing on a dinner table, for example, where everyone's sitting around it, you would need to make sure that that was a 360 view. But for me, I can cheat a little bit and I can push them mainly to the front. And for me, I picked these with celebration of all aspects of the growing. So we've got the buds, we've got the open aging flowers, and so these will start to fall. And what I can do is I can actually just, when I want to change the water, what I do is at the back I go, and this is the same with my jars, especially if I haven't got them already wrapped in some string or a band, but you basically just hold at the front like this to support underneath, so your hand is letting them lean into it, and then at the back I'm just doing the same. I will lift it and I won't remove them right out the jug. I'll pour that down across the sink, and then I'll just get some fresh water and put it in. So every couple of days, fresh water, particularly in the heat, is the way to go. You can even add a cup of sugar, a cup of sugar, my gosh, it sounds like a baking class, a teaspoon of sugar. You can even put a little bit of, a little teaspoon of bleach in as well, or vinegar. That will help keep the water clean. But my best suggestion is just fresh rainwater, or tap water is fine, but just refresh it over. And roses in particular are very forgiving when it comes to display. But in a few days, if I wanted, I could take them back out and I could actually trim the base of their stem on the angle again to allow them to absorb as much water as possible. So there you go. What do you think? Have you got any of these Pierre de Ronsards? I think they're absolutely beautiful, but the one letdown for me is that there is no smell to them. There is no beautiful rose fragrance, which is my favourite fragrance of all time. But in saying that, it's good if people that have headaches and suffer migraines due to rose or excess fragrance from flowers, this is a safe bet if you want to bring flowers inside. Pierre de Ronsards are a good choice. So I'm going to finish here and I will add on to it what it looks like in the hallway where I'm displaying it. Thanks for joining me, and you can follow me on YouTube as well. I'm doing my gardening hints, and I'm going to get more into the floral designing side of things to share with you, just to give you some lovely hints for displaying your own home flowers. Have a great day and thank you for watching. Okay, so here we go. I've got them displayed next to a lovely birthday card that I got given, and they really are beautiful. I'll just step back a bit so you can take the card out the way. Look at that. So the view coming down the hall, we can see no gaps at the back, and when I come back this way, there's no gaps this way either. So they're just sort of rolling into each other. We've got a beautiful celebration of like soft pink, almost an apricot pink, and then right through to whites. The green of the leaves and the green of the vase. I think it all marries really beautifully. And although these aren't a traditional long-lasting cut flower, if you get them at this stage here, they'll last a lot longer than this one will, for example. But I've just had a birthday and I'm a bit sentimental about celebrating all stages of my life because there's just joy in all of it and beauty in all of it. So that's my sentimental flowers, Pierre de Ronsard in a vintage vase. Thank you very much for watching, and good luck with your picking of your roses. You'll find they all sit very differently, and it's just worth having a bit of a play. The way you cut them and removing the excess greenery so that that's not sitting in the actual vase is also going to make them last longer. Thanks again. See you later, everyone. Bye.